Okay, guys, welcome back. But now listen, I'm going to be a little bit nasty now, and I'm going to show you a lovely exam question that sometimes comes up. Have a look at this example. Determine the sum of the series this. Now, be careful here. I want you to be very, very careful here. You've got 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14, and it goes all the way and stops at 598. It's a last term there. All right, so in other words, you've got to add up all those terms to 598. Now that's a mission, because let's see what's happening. Well, if you look at this, there's 2, you're adding 4 to get 10, you're adding 4. So that's definitely, what do we know? Linear or arithmetic. It's not geometric, it's not quadratic, it's not strange. Okay, but the problem is we're going to have to add the first term, the second term, the third term. We're going to have to know, I mean, if for example, look at this, if you had to go up to 14. Say you stopped, ignore everything on the right. You had got 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14. Well, you would simply, it says the sum of the series, which would be 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14. Well, that's easy. You're adding up 4 terms. You know there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. The problem is, with this one, we've got, this is all these missing terms in there. We keep adding 4, so it's 14 plus 4 is 18 plus 4 is 22. We're going on, and we get to 598. But the problem is we don't know how many terms are there. We know if you ignore the stuff on the right here, if you just go to 14 and stop, make that your last term, you can go 2 plus 6 is pretty easy, plus 10 plus 14, that would be 20. You know, what's the 6 plus 14 is 20, plus 10 is 30, so it's 32. The sum of the first 4 terms is that. It's very easy. You're summing the first 4 terms. The n is 4. You see that there? The sum of the first 3 terms, well, the n is 3. Now, you're not going on, so that they've stopped it. But the problem is, which term is 598? I don't know what that is. What I do know, let's have a look, is I know that I can use a formula. It is definitely arithmetic or linear, because I'm adding 4 all the time, which is pretty cool. Okay, but now look at this. This is another formula where L is the last term. N is the number of terms. That's the last term. We know our first term, and our constant difference, of course, is 4. In fact, we don't even need it here, the 2. But the question is, what is n? How many terms are there? How many terms do we have to add up? If we know there's 4 terms, if you looked at the one, if you go back and have a look, 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14, what a pleasure. So the question is, how on earth are we going to work that out? We've got a term with an unknown position. That position, T1, T2, T3, is the n value. Okay, so we've got a term with an unknown position, and it's arithmetic. So what do we know? Well, we've got the last term. We've got a term with an unknown position. What I can say is Tn is a plus n minus. That's the formula for the terms of an arithmetic. We're going to use the metric formula now. And that Tn, so Tn is simply that, because Tn is a plus n minus 1d. Now, what do we know about this? Okay, what do we know about a? A is 2. We don't know n. We know the d. The d is definitely 4. So the constant difference is 4. There's a, and we're letting it equal there. The idea is to get n, the number of terms. You see, very important this. Now, hold on to this. Now, what do we do? Well, all we do is we can maybe multiply the 4 in there and the 4 in there. So what does that give us? N times 4 is 4n, minus 1 times 4 is 4. The 2's there, and the 598. Well, 2 minus 4, now careful, is negative 2 on the left. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Pop it across, add 2 to 598 gives you 600. Well, let's divide both sides by 4. 600 divided by 4 gives me 150. So what does the n equal 150? Tell us. It's the number of terms. There are 150 terms that you want to add up. 598 is the 150th term. So we're adding up 150 terms. Okay, cool. Now have a look here. We've got this. There's the formula. There's the last term. And of course, we've got that. Great. Okay, n is 50. So what do? We then say the sum of the first 150 terms is n. There's n over 2. There's a plus the L, the last term. And that gives it to you. Of course, you've got it there. You can, of course, use n over 2 2a plus n minus 1d as well. All right, so be careful of this. Just have a look at another one quickly. The sum of this series, again, this is geometric. We'll go fairly quickly through this one. We've got a term with an unknown position, but we keep multiplying by 3. So we know that the formula is this, so put the t in as that, since we've got it there. Okay, now it's equal to 1458. Okay, then we put in the a. A is 2, the constant ratio kept multiplying by 3. Careful now, divide both sides by 2. 1458 divided by 2 gives you this. Now careful, this is a simple grade 10 exponential. 3 to the 6 is 729. Check it out. You can then, if you look at this, you can drop the bases, and you've got n minus 1 is equal to 6. Okay, so be careful. Remember, this is, let's just go through this again. This is a. Then what did you get? What's that r? You multiplied by 3. Okay, so that's the r. N minus 1 is 1458. Divide. You can't, by the way, you can't multiply those two. You bring it in and you've got n is 7. There's 7 terms. Now we can say the sum of the first 7 terms, remember, a r to the n minus 1 over r minus 1. That's the SN formula. And there we go. And then you can work it out. And you've got that. So guys, beware of this kind of thing. Very, very important in the world of mathematics. They can ask you the terms, the sums, and everything. So people, it's really been great being with you to do these sequences and series. We'll see you around for some more wonderful mathematics. This is preparing you for that big final exam when you get to matric. Take care and see you around.